Can we start our lesson for today? Yep, everyone?
Yeah, teacher.
Very good. So
Yeah.
we actually talk about focus on grammar through structure focus tasks. Okay, structure focus tasks. Okay, so let's start. So this chapter takes a task-based approach to teaching grammar in communicative context. Yeah, task-based approach to teaching grammar in communicative context. We are dealing with a special type of task which has the target grammar point presented implicitly or explicitly as the task content. So here, the grammar point actually presented directly or indirectly. This is indirectly. Implicitly means indirectly or directly as the content of the task. And these are called structure grammar focused tasks, or also called grammar consciousness raising tasks. So you can call grammar focused tasks or grammar consciousness raising tasks. Everyone okay? Okay. All right. It is recognized that formal instruction on grammar forms is necessary to promote L2 accuracy and levels of target language attainment. Okay, yeah. So this is important. Okay, that the formal instruction on grammar forms. It means that students learn it in the classroom. Formal instruction. Okay, necessary to actually learn the accuracy and the level of the target language. Okay, and as we have noted, input, output, and feedback on the output are seen as essential for uh, second language acquisition, and the learner uptake is especially successful when we negotiated interaction occurs. Okay, when negotiated interaction occurs. So it is important. Okay, it is important for the learner to know that input, output, and feedback on the output. Yeah, this is the corrective feedback or interactional feedback. Very important to learn the second language, and for the learner uptake. Learner uptake means learner knowledge, learner language knowledge. Okay, is especially successful. When negotiation occur. It means when we actually negotiate. Okay, in the interaction. Okay, in the communicative context. Right. Or at least 2003 identified 3 types of structure-based focus tasks. So everyone remember, for the structure-based focus tasks, there are 3 types. There are 3 types. Everyone, final exam, be careful, okay? Number 1, structure-based production tasks. Yeah, number 1, structure-based production tasks. This is required to use target forms, to complete the communicative activity, and may also include grammar tasks that require learners to practice certain target structures through various forms of production exercises. Okay, this is you call a structure-based production task. All right. Okay. So students need to use the target forms to actually do the work in the communicative activity, which also include grammar tasks that require learner to practice certain target structures. For example, learner practice the present perfect. So in this kind of task, there are present perfect there, and students actually practice, okay, through the various form of production exercises. Yeah, okay, right. Now, number 2, comprehension or interpretation tasks are also designed so that learner must notice, then process the target form in carefully designed input. Okay, all right, okay. So this kind of exercise actually asks students, okay, to notice and process the target form in the design exercise or in the design input, okay, according to what they actually learn. All right. And number three, consciousness raising tasks require learner to communicate directly about grammar structures, perhaps by generating a rule for their use. Okay, this is consciousness raising task. For example, you can actually ask learner to actually write some example about the past perfect or present perfect. So this is directly student need to actually know about the rule, so then they can actually make example about the past tense or what you want them to do. Okay, this is consciousness raising task. All right. Okay. Okay. Now we jump to implicit grammar focused task. This is implicit, everyone. Yeah. What do you mean by saying implicit? Mean direct. Okay, direct. Yeah. So this is quite direct. So the indirect, everyone. Yeah. Indirect structure grammar tasks lend themselves a variety of grammar structures and task contents. The fact that learner have to produce the form is important, both in terms of auto input and in terms of receiving feedback from other learners. All right, okay. So because this is quite indirect, indirect, implicit mean indirect. Okay. So then this is there are a variety of grammar structure and task contents that the learner have to produce the form. It is important both in terms of auto input. Auto input mean what? Mean automatic. Student actually reply. Student actually produce automatically, and in terms of receiving feedback from the other learner. So then the other learner actually reply, actually give feedback to what you actually say. Okay, and you learn the grammar indirectly in there through the communication. Okay. Okay, so now implicit grammar focus tasks. Look at some characteristic. Okay, some characteristic. This attract attention to target form. Attract, everyone, attract. Okay, attract attention to target forms. Is delivered spontaneously in an otherwise communication oriented activity. Yeah, spontaneously mean at the same time. Okay, at the same time. Yeah. So it is unobtrusive, mean not noticeable. Yeah, not noticeable, unobtrusive. Yeah, it means that they just actually have it, but then they don't actually make it like highlighted, for example, like they don't actually make it so noticeable. Present target form in context. Yeah, the target form is actually in context. Yeah, in the text. Make no use of meta language. Yeah, make no use of meta language. It means that they don't actually use like sentences to actually explain this grammar, because this grammar is just in the text. Yeah, encourage free use of target form. Yeah, free use of target form. Okay. Yeah. So there are a lot of target forms here. Okay, right. So this is explicit grammar focus task. Now we look at the explicit grammar focus task, everyone. Yeah, at the moment implicit. Okay, implicit grammar focus task. Now we look at the explicit grammar focus task. Explicit mean what? Mean direct, very direct. Okay. So it is also communicative, involving meaningful language exchange taking place as a primary task component. Yet there is an explicit focus on the form, since the task content is the grammar structure itself. So this is still, this is still involving meaningful language exchange. This is a communicative context. But then it is focused on form. Explicit focus on form. It means it focuses on form directly, and then the tag content is the grammar structure. You know, the tag content is actually the grammar structure. It actually talk openly about the grammar you learn. Okay, over here. Can you now look at these characteristics? It's different. Okay, from the implicit grammar focus task. Direct attention to target form. So this is direct. You know, this is directing attention to the target form. It is the main focus and the goal of teaching activity. Yeah. So the grammar focus is the main focus. They focus on the grammar task. Okay, and the teaching activity is about the grammar. It is obtrusive, mean it is noticeable. Yeah, like they highlight, they underline, they make italics about the grammar. Okay, the target grammar, present target forms in isolation. Yeah, actually, they can actually present the grammar. Yeah, like uh, you actually focus on like form, meaning, use. Okay, in a target in an isolation. Okay, isolation form. Yeah, everyone use meta-linguistic terminology. Yeah, for example, they say uh, present perfect. Yeah, this is we call meta-linguistic terminology. But for the implicit grammar, they don't actually talk about those meta-linguistic terminology. Okay, students will try to discover themselves. Typically, also involves control practice of the target form. Yeah, also there are control practice. Yeah, I think you understand control practice. Okay, yeah. Okay, right. So now we can go to the selection of target forms for structure, grammar, focus tasks. Yeah, this is the selection. Yeah. Oh, 8 people here now. Okay, yes. So an important decision in constructing structure, grammar, focus tasks is what form should be the focus of the task. What form should be the focus of the task? Okay, yeah, what form? So there are two factors which are important to consider. Yeah, and you have two factors that are important to consider. So what are the factors? Number one is the problematicity. What is the problematicity? It concerns with the nature of the problem that the learner has with a particular target structure. For example, the learner had a problem with passive. So then you actually select the passive. Okay, this is the problematicity. And one more is the learnability. What is the learnability? Is the extent to which learners are able to integrate the target structure into their linguistic system. Okay, so this is how much that learner can integrate the target structure into their linguistic system, into their existing knowledge. Okay, their existing knowledge. They need to integrate. So there are two factors here which are important for you guys as English teacher to select the target form for student. Okay, regarding the structure, grammar, focus task. One is the problematicity, and one more is the learnability. So problematicity is actually about the nature of the problem that the learner has with a particular target structure. Okay, while learnability is how much student can do to actually combine the target structure into their existing knowledge, their linguistic system. Okay, right. So learner output during the structure, grammar, focus task. It is said that if learners can discuss the language they are producing during task performance, such tasks will not only increase their consciousness of the relationship of the form meaning, thereby improving accuracy, but will also enable them to gain control over their learning. Okay, yeah, it is important that that learner can discuss the language they are producing during the task performance. So then they can actually what? They can actually increase their consciousness of the relationship of the form meaning, okay, and improve their accuracy, and also enable them to gain control, to actually control their learning too. Okay, this is important. Okay. So now this is example of implicit and explicit of the structure grammar focus task. Now let's look at and discuss the following example. Okay, now can you now look at the following example? Well, I want to look at who are here now. Soksin is here. Wait, yeah, Soksin is here. Bunna is here. Yes. Okay. So now look at here. Number one. Soksin, can you read number one? Hello, Soksin. Please,
Yeah, teacher.
please read now. Okay. Activity
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Activity 1, preposition of location.
The preposition of location. Mean what?
Yeah.
Preposition of what?
Our location.
Of what? Usually you
Place.
yeah, place. So sometimes your student might not know if you say preposition of location, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in, on, and. Okay, yeah, come on. So let's start.
The first task is an implicit structure grammar focus task and consists of pictures of a living room.
Yes.
Working in groups of 3 or 4. Learners are given task card with questions about the location of different items, such as a book, a table, or a chair.
Mm-hmm.
The other learners answer the questions. The target structure is the use of preposition of location, although this is not mentioned in the task, which appears to be purely communicative.
Yes, yeah. So this is one example of implicit. Everyone, implicit mean indirect. Implicit structure grammar focus task. Okay. So it is about the preposition of place. So there is a picture of the living room, and then students are actually working in groups of 3 or 4, and then they have some cards, some task cards, okay, with question about the location of different items, with question, for example, they are like, where is the book, where is the table, where is the chair. So then students actually look at the living room and answer this question. You understand, everyone? Okay.
Yes.
Teacher,
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes.
this is we can say the structure-based production, right, teacher?
this one,
Yeah, yeah, we can say structure-based production, like the type of structure grammar.
this is not a structure based production. For the structure based production, this is quite implicit. Okay, this is quite implicit. For the structure based production, this is quite explicit. You understand explicit?
Yeah,
Direct.
yeah. Okay,
Direct.
maybe comprehension.
Yeah, this is kind of related to comprehension. You right. Okay, okay, fine, fine. Okay. So everyone okay with activity number one?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, okay. So it's cool. It's cool. I think you can try in your classroom. Okay, it's cool with this one. Okay. Number two. Number two, I would like Sarayrod. Can you read number two? Come on, Sarayrod.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, please.
Number two, different forms of the past tense.
Mm-hmm.
A second, implicit consciousness raising tasks as pairs or groups of learners to work together to reconstruct a path even that they have participated in, with the target structure being the past tense. They discuss and agree upon an event and create a story
Mm.
describing it, which they then present to the rest of the class. Again, although the target structure is L2 past 10 usage, the task makes no mention of it. However, teachers may choose to follow task performance by pointing out L2 past 10 uses and presenting a mini lesson.
All right, all right. So this is also implicit, but this is a kind of consciousness raising task, while students will actually work together to reconstruct a past event, mean to make the past event again, okay, reconstruct, to make again, that they have participated in, with the target structure being the past tense. So it is about the past tense, okay? All right. They discuss and agree upon an event, okay? Mean they discuss and then agree about an event and create a story describing it, which they actually present to the rest of the class. Again, although the target structure is a second language, past tense usage, the term make no mention of it, you know. Teacher may choose to follow task performance by pointing out a second language L2 past tense and use and presenting a mini lesson, you know. And after that, teacher will actually present a mini lesson about the past tense. Okay, so this is also implicit task work. Okay, this is implicit grammar task work. Okay, right. Activity 2. Okay, everyone, let's go to activity 3.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, activity 3. Now let's look at activity 3. I would like Chan Duan. Are you there, Chan Duan? Duan?
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Now, can you read number 3? Okay.
Okay, activity number 3, discovering rule about if conditional forms.
Yeah. Oh.
This can be either
Implicit.
implicit or explicit.
Okay.
Explicit working in groups, in group of 3 or 4. The learner read the dialogue in which if conditionals have been put in italics,
Into italics. Italic.
italic,
Yeah. Okay. Continue. There are then.
and are then asked to make several questions, each from the dialogue using if the other group members answer the questions as in the example below. Question: what will happen if I don't study for the test?
Mm-hmm.
Answer: if you don't study for the test, you may not pass it.
Very good. Very good. So.
As
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Continue. The students.
the student, the student then asks the other class members the question they have made. If desires, the
Desire.
task can follow by a mini lesson on if conditional to promote increase not
Not.
noticing of the target structure.
Very good. Very good. So here, this can be either implicit or explicit. You know why explicit? Because the target structure is actually highlighted here. It is the conditional. Okay. Why implicit? Because it just like talk more, like related to the target forms. You know, you just talk about this, but then it highlight here. Is it explicit? Explicit here. So the student then ask other classmate members the question they have made. If desire, class can be followed by a mini lesson. Yeah, mini lesson. So it is important to have a follow-up mini lesson, everyone. You cannot just like ask your student to work in this and then you assume that your student can actually learn the grammar you assign. There should be a follow-up, you know, a follow-up mini lesson on the grammar that they learn, on the target form, on the target language, to promote increased noticing on the target structure, promote increased noticing. After noticing, and then they will know, okay, they will understand, okay, comprehend, right. Everyone okay with this one? Okay. So now look at number 4. Okay, number 4. This one I would like, okay, Mr. Buna, can you read number 4, please? Mr. Buna?
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Activity 4. Using an information gap task to generate rule for indirect object placement.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
In this explicit structure grammar focused task, learners work in groups. Each student is given several sentences containing a target grammar structure. In this case, indirect object placement. They read their sentences to the members of the group, and after all sentences have been read and understood, the group attempts to generate rule for indirect object placement. Here is a sample task card.
Okay, yeah. Can you read this one? So.
He asked her friend a question. He offered snack to the guests. We bought many flowers at the store, and I cooked my family a wonderful meal.
Okay, okay. So this is the explicit structure grammar focus task. Explicit means very direct. Because why? Because they actually have the target form, okay, here in the conversation, in the dialogue, and then they ask student to actually read this, to practice this, and then student will discover the form. We see the form clearly, okay? We see the target grammar structure clearly over here, okay, right.
Vâng. Cô.
Can you read this one, Mr.
Cắt bắt lên phôi bắt lên thằng mọi cắt phôi. Hả?
Okay. So, Mr. Bonna, are you still there?
Yeah.
Can you read this one? It's okay. It's okay. Please now this one.
The rule generated by the learner after all task cards have been read and discussed are that the indirect object may not come before the direct object.
May come.
But
indirect may come. Yeah.
May come before direct object.
Okay.
But may also come after the direct object.
Yes. Sure.
Or can occur in both positions with most short verbs. Learner may know that indirect object may note that indirect object usually occur as a prepositional phrase following the direct object in a longer verb. Each group then report their rule to the rest of the class. Again, this may be followed by a mini lesson expounding on the grammar rule presented.
Sure. So I think you guys understand the concept of the lesson, that they want you to be able to create a lesson. This is in explicit way. Explicit way means you have some examples of the grammar in the text, in the context, and you present this to student, and student will actually read through, and then they have some ideas about the target grammar, and ask them to discuss about what they learn and how to actually use the target grammar. But then there is a follow-up mini lesson to actually explain them more, to make sure that they understand completely. Okay, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Now, I would like you to go to number 5. Okay, look at number 5, and then we will come to the conclusion of this. Number 5, I would like Mr. Sunny. Are you there, Sunny?
Yes, I am here, teacher.
Yes, please read now. Okay, please. Okay.
Okay. Activity 5. Discovering rules for word order in the target language. This explicit test compares word order in the learner's native language and the target language. Group of 3 or 4 pupils are given to text, one in the target language and one in the L1. The groups are then asked to mark the subjects and the verbs in the text, comparing the position of the subjects and the verbs in the two languages. They then propose rules for the word order in the L1 and the target language to the rest of the class.
That is a good example. That this is quite explicit task. Explicit task means direct, because you will have 2 texts. One is in L1 and one more is in L2. For example, you look at sentence like, for example, I love the red dress. I love the red dress. While in Khmer, in L1 everyone ខ្ញុំស្រឡាញ់រ៉ូបពណ៌ក្រហម So student will actually compare the word order here. One is in L1 in Khmer and one is in L2 in English. So what is different is the រ៉ូបពណ៌ក្រហម In Khmer we say រ៉ូបពណ៌ក្រហម In English red dress. So then student will have some idea. When the article describing a noun, it stay before that noun, while in Khmer it stay after. You see that, okay? This is the word order, okay?
Word order.
Yeah, word order. Okay, right, okay. So I come to the conclusion. In conclusion, we have looked at the use of communicative task with the target grammar structure as content presented implicitly or explicitly. Implicitly or explicitly, we talk a lot at the moment about implicitly or explicitly. Why implicitly? Implicitly means no highlight, not presented. You just see, but you don't see it in the text. Yep.
Implicit mean indirect, right?
Indirect, okay, indirect.
Yeah. Implicit, indirect.
Implicit mean directly, okay, directly. You can see.
Explicit mean direct.
Awareness of the target forms, which help learner everyone in their English language education. So I would like you to look at the discussion question. Okay.
We have books.
These are all the 7 discussion questions, everyone. Do you see that? Do you see it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you now look at the 7 discussion questions? I give you around like 10 minutes, and then check the answer with me. And we have a small break, and we come back in around. Let's look at that. So let's have a break around 10 minutes. But you look at the question and come back. Okay. Come on. I stop recording now, everyone. I stop recording, okay? You can talk ever you want to talk. I stop recording, but when I come back, I will record, okay?